The off-season elections are fast approaching and the political sphere is getting heated. Tonight, we take a look at Imo State, where the Labour Party candidate for the November 11 governorship election in Imo State, Senator Athan Achonu, has called on Governor Hope Uzodimma to resign honorably for failure to arrest insecurity in the state. Senator Achonu was reacting to a recent meeting between the governor and traditional rulers, President General and youth leaders of communities in Imo. He chided the governor for telling his audience to assume responsibility for the security of their respective communities. He noted that as chief security officer of the state, it was unacceptable for the governor to abdicate his responsibilities to the community leaders and urged him to resign for being bereft of the solutions. He's also described it as a Greek gift, the sum of 1 million naira that the governor released to each traditional ruler in the state to help fight insecurity. He says the timing of the disbursement, less than 4 months before the governorship election, suggests that its real intent is to induce the support of traditional rulers, especially as the challenge of insecurity is not new to the state. Well, let's speak with the man himself and why he said all of that, and if he does have the PIN code, as they say, to unlock the challenge of insecurity in Imo State. Senator Athan Achonu, good to see you and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Those were heavy words coming from a politician to another politician, in this case to the governor. Now, speak to us politically speaking. First, let's talk about the security situation in your state. We've had a series of conversations here on Arise Primetime looking at security situation in the southeast. So how is Imo at the moment?
Imo is the epicenter of insecurity in the entire southeast. Yeah, because it's from the same location in my senatorial zone, somewhere in my senatorial zone, that they attack Anambra. It's from that same location that they attack Enugu. It's from that same location they attack Abia. It's only recent, and then you see the entire Olo is almost overrun. People don't go home any longer. And Okigwe, so many places, there were no elections last time, even in Olo, even though results materialized from, God knows where. So, and then recently, very recently, you can see that the governor has been between Lagos and Abuja. He was away for more than a month because Owerri has now been invaded. So, you see, the major problem is I don't understand. Every policing is local because you can't fight crime without the people who live in those communities getting involved. You can't succeed. Now, where you have foreigners, people who are not from, but like you bring people from outside to come and fight crime in Okigwe, where I come from, you will not be able to know where the criminals are hiding. Do you understand? So even if there are locals who are part of this crime syndicate, you will not be able to identify them. And then what is worrisome in Imo State is how you see a truckload of rough-looking men in mufti with AK-47 and other weapons. You can't even differentiate between the criminals and the so-called, is it a bubago or what they call, you understand? You can't differentiate between them. So you don't know who is who. You understand? So this is something that should have been properly organized. If you go around in the last couple of years, in every senatorial zone in the entire southeast, I've been campaigning. I have billboards campaigning saying that communities should set up vigilantes to work with the police to check crime. And then I've always maintained that if we don't have autonomy of local governments, we can't solve this problem. Because
I hope you don't lose your train of thought. Is Ebube Agu not a vigilante group?
This is a state-owned vigilante outfit. They are not working with locals. It is supposed to work with, what I proposed was that local governments, communities should own their own vigilante groups that will now work with the police. You can call them a buba, you can call them anything, so long as it works, so long as it solves the problem. You understand me? So that was what I've been proposing all these years. That look, because what they're doing is not working. The whole place is a mess. They are killing traditional rulers left, right, and center, slaughtering people like fowls, burning houses. And okay, if I don't understand how security agencies can come, somebody will commit a crime, they'll come and burn houses in that location. How? Destroying infrastructure? How people are looking for funds, money to grow their infrastructure. You are destroying the one you have.
It's not like it doesn't look like you're a lone voice. The traditional rulers who had that meeting with the governor and some other elders, didn't they also propose or raise some of the concerns you just highlighted? Because Imo State belongs to everyone, even if you're not an indigent of Imo.
They can't talk. They're so scared.
Scared?
They don't have security. These men are so scared. They don't know why they are being killed or who is killing them. So they're so scared to voice out. That's the problem of the state. I remember that I was an advice I gave to His Excellency Hope Sodima sometime about over 2 years ago. I told him, I said, look, because these young men, they don't have any hope. They don't have any job. They can't even feed themselves. And they are seeing politicians living in, I mean, you will see somebody from your village, for example, or your senatorial zone, or your local government, who was struggling with you. Suddenly, he has a godfather, he becomes a House of Assembly member. The next day, he has a car, has a number of cars. He builds a fantastic house. He starts to spend money while you're living in squalor. Do you understand?
So the words, the governor is a listening governor. It's your friend, because if you say you gave him an advice.
Yes, let me fill that land. And so you see the disparity, you understand, in status. And then, so I told him, I said, look, these young men, they don't have any hope. They're our brothers. You beat them with one arm, you flog them with one, you bring them with the other arm. Flog them with your left hand, you bring them with your right hand, and then talk to them so that there will be peace. Without peace, we can never have progress. Do you understand? They are bearing a grudge. What is their grudge? Understand them. I give him an example. I say, look at what is happening in the north. That I remember that I saw in a newspaper a southern northern governor with an insurgent with a rifle on one side, a soldier on the other side. He was in the middle. They are trying to make peace, to make their place habitable. I said, you should do the same. After that, he never took my call again until recently, after I won the governorship primaries of the Labour Party. One day like that, he just called, I mistakenly touched his phone. He called me back for the first time since I gave him that advice. So see, the problem of Imo State is the problem of Igbo land, the entire Igbo land. And it's a very big problem. So the governor has abdicated his responsibility. The primary function of governance is to protect lives and property.
And you think you can fix that?
Oh, I can do that. I had a radio announcement the other day. I told these men who are living in the forest, I said, please, calm down. Don't kill your fellow Igbos. I said, look, I am going to provide an enabling environment for the economy to grow once I'm inaugurated after the November elections. So put down your arms. If you can't claim that you are Biafra, how are you Biafra? I was Biafra. I lost my arm during the Civil War. And for us, Biafra meant sacrificing your life to protect your family and friends, not killing them, for God's sake. Do you understand? So I tell you, it doesn't make any sense. So if you are killing Igbos, then you're not Biafra.
So this is just to address the sit at home. That was one of the reasons you also spoke to
all these men in the forest.
So there are people in the forest.
They live like wild animals, even. That's what I hear. They live like, they are in the forest. So you can imagine people who don't go home, because most of them, they know their villages, especially the armed robbers. This thing has moved So because there are no police stations, okay, let me ask you a question. Why has government not fixed all the police stations in my zone that were burnt and taken over? I have, even as a private individual, fixed the area command. They came and dynamited it. Not just that, yes. Not just that, I have bought land now to rebuild the one in Himembano. I've donated vehicles to that effect. If the policemen came, I'm repeating myself, because yesterday I said the same thing. The policemen came and told me that they needed APCs to stay in, okay? So that because they're killing these policemen. These are human beings like all of us. And they're not even being protected by government because they're not providing this. I had to use my hard-earned money to fix APCs belonging to Nigerian police so that they'll be protected, you know? So,
let's close on this, because if there's anyone that should know better what war is about, it is you before me, because you hit a chord when you just said to me how you lost your arm. Are they listening to you?
Well, I'll keep making that broadcast, trying to calm them down, trying to make them see reason. We have to appeal to these people. Look, and a young Igbo boy has no hope in this country. They don't, okay, even if they want to trade, after every 1 kilometer you have a checkpoint in Igbo land. Every 1 kilometer you have a custom checkpoint. So they are not even free to move around, to walk, to look, eke out a living. So life is hard. We are like a conquered territory in Igbo land. So it's very, very difficult.
I'm hoping that you find time just before the election to come back so that we can have a robust conversation on your agenda. But this is just to talk more about the security situation in Imo State. My guest has been Senator Athan Neji Achonu. Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Do join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, it's goodbye and many thanks for watching.